Good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful day this morning, and I'm really looking forward to this session. We've got loads of people on the call this morning, so thanks very much indeed for giving us your time. So we're all really excited. We're looking forward to opening our doors and restarting our businesses across Scotland, but now is absolutely the time to be looking at your business operations and reviewing potential new opportunities. So we thought it'd be really valuable to give you the opportunity to meet our partners of business, our valued partners, and have this session called Meet the Experts. So this is your opportunity to find out essentially who our partners for business are and our Trade Supplier Plus and how they can help you. So the format is that each partner is going to give you an elevator pitch, which is about 3 to 5 minutes maximum, to introduce themselves and their business. Mel's going to remind people when it gets to 3 minutes, and will physically wave at 4 minutes so that they don't go over. So panel, don't say you've not been warned. If you've got any burning questions for the panel, please enter them in the chat area at the side. Now, we're not going to have a Q&A as we normally do, but we will forward any of those questions direct to the panel. And we really do encourage you to get in touch with our partners directly, with each of them organising however they want to follow up on those conversations. After the sessions, we'll produce a contact sheet with all the details and distribute it to the members via the newsletter and also in the members login area. And we'll also upload any of the information that our partners have sent to us. So without further ado, I'd like to very much welcome everyone here today. And we're going to start off with a crash with Grant Seaton, Senior Business Lending Manager at Cumberland Business. Good morning, Grant.
Morning, Fiona. Right. So good morning, everybody. It's great to hear so many people are on the call this morning. I'm Grant Seaton from the Cumberland Building Society, Senior Business Lending Manager there. So who are the Cumberland? We're a financial organisation based in Cumbria, very close to the Lake District, but lending nationwide, including Scotland. We're a building society run for the benefit of our customers. That's the traditional mutuality, I guess. We have a strong social and ethical purpose. Our business team specialise in hospitality and have done so over the last 30 years. And we lend the length and breadth of the country. That includes Scotland, and Scotland's a very important part of our lending portfolio. In Scotland, we also, as well as lending in the mainland, we lend on Arran, Mull and Skye as well, which is quite specific to ourselves. Looking at our mortgage book at the moment, we have circa 340 million of self-catering lending on our mortgage book at the moment. And that makes up 75% of our total mortgage book on the commercial side. So that shows you the importance that self-catering plays with the Cumberland. And that's 1,500 self-catering customers who currently bank with us. Every customer with ourselves who brings an application is looked at individually on its merits. It's not a tick box exercise. And it's looked at by a lending manager who has many years of experience of dealing in your industry. And that's what sets us apart. So whether purchasing a new holiday let or self-catering property, whether you want to remortgage, whether that be from an existing holiday let lender who you feel is not giving you the expertise you deserve, or you may be on a residential mortgage and feel that it needs to be on a proper footing. Or if you're looking to refinance any borrowing that you've got at the moment for growth, we would be delighted to speak to you about your plans. And that's what we crave. It's those discussions that we crave to have with you. And together we look to work as a team to try and better the business that you've already built up to this date. I'm not sure how many minutes that is, Mel, but that is my opening gambit for today.
Well done. I don't know if you get a bonus if you're like short, but that was fantastic. I have been working with Cumberland for the last 13 years and I can thoroughly recommend them. Grant, thanks so much. You've always been incredibly supportive, and I would absolutely recommend, if you have any financial lending needs, then give Grant a call. Next up is Derek Nicol, who is Hospitality Account Executive at Bruce Stevenson. Derek.
Good morning, everyone. I hope we're all well and you enjoyed your Easter weekend. As Fiona said, I'm Derek Nicol and I head up the self-catering and bed and breakfast scheme at Bruce Stevenson Insurance Brokers. Some of you will already know me, as I'm fortunate enough to act for a growing number of ASSC members. Bruce Stevenson is a Scottish-based broker and is now part of the Aston Lark Group. We are known for being a niche and schemes broker. So basically, we stick to what we're good at. Our specialisms include renewable energies, distilleries, social housing, property, private clients, and of course the hospitality sector. Our self-catering scheme is run by me and is managed by Fiona Reid, who works out of our Scottish Borders office. Fiona and I have over 20 years experience each in arranging accommodation-led insurance covers for clients. Whilst insurance is not the most interesting or indeed exciting subject matters, it's imperative that clients arrange cover on the correct basis. So whilst we review cases, we see lots of things, lots of different ways in which accommodation-led insurances can be arranged. Some are more appropriate than others. We've seen cases where the clients are set up purely as their own holiday home and there's no reference whatsoever made to the fact that the client might have paying guests arriving and associated liabilities with that. So just to be very careful that what you're asking the insurance company to cover is actually what you deliver to guests. If you've got additional facilities like a games room, a cafe, adventure playground, etc., make sure the insurance company are aware of that, because if they're not, then you could get into difficulty. The business description just has to be tight to make sure that there are no grey areas if there's a claim. Our scheme covers most property types, including listed properties, properties with flat roofs, non-standard constructions, etc. We'll be more competitive in some areas than others, but we will always do our very best for all ASSC members. If it falls out with the scope of our scheme, so if you do weddings or you've got a function suite or things like that, we can also accommodate that, but not on the scheme, but we need to look at other markets for you, but we're more than happy to look at that. Our key covers are accidental damage, malicious damage and theft by guests, cover for guest effects, business interruption, excluding COVID, liability to paying guests at 5 million and employers' liability at 10 million. So if your insurance requirements are complex or unusual, then let me know. If I'm out and about, I'm more than happy to come and see you. I get to go and see some lovely parts of the country and I'm very fortunate to do that. Today we're launching a new service for the ASSC members called Meet the Expert. So members can go onto our website and you'll see the link on the slide there. So you can click on that and you can arrange an appointment, a 30-minute consultation. More than happy to do that. So however you want to make contact with us, more than happy to do that. You can go and give me a fact find, you can click on that link, or you can give me a call and I'm more than happy to speak with you. Our client proposition is service driven, so any members have a general query, you just want to speak to someone, we're more than happy to speak to you. We are certainly not hard sell. We are committed to the sector and we're key partners in hospitality, as well as working with the ASSC. We work with HIT Scotland, Scotland Food and Drink, Scottish Tourism Alliance, and we're also proud sponsors of the Best Self-Catering Experience at the Visit Scotland Thistle Awards. So thanks very much indeed for your time this morning. If I can help at all, do let me know. I'll be more than happy to do so. Thank you.
Thanks, Derek. And once again, we are so proud to be working with Bruce Stevenson, another amazing company that actually gives a personalised service, which is what we're wanting to give to our members. So thank you, Derek. I'm absolutely delighted to be joined this morning from the other side of the world, and it's horribly early, so I apologise. Andrew Ratcliffe, who is Director of Operations UK at Noise Aware. Now, noise monitoring is going to become more and more critical going forwards, certainly in urban environments. So it's really something to be aware of. Good morning, Andrew.
Morning. I could speak in Spanish, but let's keep it in English. So yeah, I've come to Argentina for a couple of months to visit the family with the baby. So the baby has just woken up, so I'm sure my wife will will stir very shortly. But yeah, thank you for the introduction. Obviously, my name is Andrew Ratcliffe. Recently joined NoiseAware to lead the international expansion. Previously, got involved in the world of camping pods back in 2010, the world of glamping, and then spent nearly 7 years at Airbnb, and especially in 2015, leading the charge to grow the supply across the UK. So kind of I attended an ASSC event all the way back then, so that was nice to come back full circle. In terms of NoiseAware, so NoiseAware is a smart home privacy safe noise monitoring solution. The background to this is that one of the founders, Dave Krause, was a super host, owned a couple of apartments. Unfortunately, some guests arrived, had a big party, loud noise, complaints from neighbors, and that led him to, he met our fellow founder, Andrew, who was an engineer. And from there, they created a device, what is called the NoiseAware. And what this is a smart noise sensor. So as you can see here, the UK version on the screen plugs into plug socket, and then via the app we have and Bluetooth, you connect it to your kind of central dashboard. And then if you have multiple sensors, they can be installed in different areas in the property. But it's normally one, and they are normally installed where, say, most people would congregate. But as soon as you install them yourself in about under 5 minutes, you'll begin to see the noise registering if you make noise in that property. So you would generally put them in the activity zones where most guests would congregate. In terms of how they work inside, it's not like an Alexa device that is, say, monitoring individual words. I like to think of it about, if you imagine in a stadium where you have lots of people, lots of noise, it's managing that wall of noise that's coming from inside the property. And then once that threshold of noise has been overcome, that's when you would be alerted as the property manager or the host. So you can set the thresholds accordingly to the size of the property. It varies by the time of day and night. So obviously there'll be slightly more noise in the evening when people are congregating, having dinner. But then if it goes over that threshold, that could indicate there's a potential noise issue in the property, then you'll be alerted by email and text message. And that's when you can take the decision how you want to speak with the potential guests. The results, I think, of this is that it's really a preemptive product in terms of it allows you to understand if there are potential issues. It's a good one in terms of if you're worried about what could happen, you have that ability to kind of preempt any kind of issues that may take place. We have a dashboard that's the main tool that allows you to see the activity in your properties. So you can have multiple properties on the dashboard and list those properties, and then the individual sensors can be listed in terms of where they are. One could be the living room, one could be kind of the kitchen, the games room. And what we found is that sometimes the guests aren't always aware of the noise they're making. And especially where we kind of built this in the US, 75% of incidents have been solved with one text message, which is fantastic. So I think what it's about is protection for your rentals. It's a privacy for your guests in terms of what actually noise is not being recorded. Good for your neighbors too. So the fact that it ensures that your neighbors won't be upset by potential loud noise. Could prevent issues of costly damage and revenue protection. But it also can help you actually understanding if the guests have checked in or checked out as well, where you'll be able to see kind of the noise levels gone right down. So maybe you want to go in and send the cleaners in earlier. In terms of the service, it's a subscription model. The good news is that as we're doing a pre-launch at the moment in the UK, we can offer these the sensors for no cost for the first initial 3 months. So we're looking for partners who would like to trial these in their apartments and homes. But part of this is also giving us feedback. So it's a real kind of nice moment to work with us. So please contact me on email. Probably WhatsApp me is better than calling me at the moment. So yeah, that's our pitch. So thank you very much.
Andrew, thank you so much. That's really, really helpful. And what's really worth knowing is that places like Edinburgh may well add this as a mandatory condition if a license is to be brought in. But on the other side, you know, it really is helpful in terms of cleaners coming and going and your guests leaving and so on and so forth. I've got one to trial out. I just need some guests, but that's another subject. Thank you very much indeed, Andrew. Next up is Robert Kennedy, who I'm sure you will all know, co-founder and product director at Supercontrol. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning, everybody. Sitting here in the weird bright sunshine and snow down in Dumfries and Galloway. So I am Robert Kennedy. I'm one of the co-founders of Supercontrol, and also we have our own holiday homes here at Orland down in Dumfries and Galloway. We, like most of you on this call, haven't had any guests in our homes since the beginning of December in our case. And I know a lot of you, it's a long time before that. So here at Supercontrol, we looked at putting together some information to help principally our clients, but even if you're not a Supercontrol client, there's some useful tips and information in our COVID rapid response guide. So there's a link on the slide there, but if you just go to help.supercontrol.co.uk and on the main homepage, scroll down to the bottom and you'll see an icon for the COVID rapid response guide. So there's lots of information in there, which was originally aimed to help you deal with lockdowns, cancellations, moving bookings, closing dates, etc. But now, as we're looking to open up again, it's helping, the same information is there to help you communicate with your guests, also operational things like housekeeping schedules, making sure that everyone knows what they're doing and when you're ready to reopen. There's also explaining a lot of functions that we built during COVID. For example, our break days, if you want to automatically close days before and after bookings for additional cleaning, you can do that now in Supercontrol. Also a lot of information about our guest login or My Stay Planner, which helps you in lots of ways communicate with your guests, provide them relevant information, helps you collect additional data. Quite what data we're going to have to collect here in Scotland on our guests isn't quite sure yet, but in England they're now having to collect names and contact details from all adult guests. So you can do all that through My Stay Planner, which is a free bolt-on to Supercontrol. At Supercontrol, we've spent a lot of time in COVID doing operational stuff to help people manage the day-to-day things that you've all been going through. But as we look forward as well, a lot of tools and a lot of stuff in Supercontrol are looking to help you plan for growth, because I'm confident that we're looking at some really good years for self-catering once COVID has disappeared. We've brought a whole new audience and demand to our domestic holiday market, and we're going to see the benefit of that. So things like dynamic pricing and tools to help you plan for growth are also referenced in our COVID response guide. So that's it. Please go and look at what we're doing, whether you're a Supercontrol client or not. It's obviously much more useful for the many of you who are using Supercontrol. I just want to finish off really by thanking Fiona and her whole team at the ASSC for all of the hard work still going on, keeping us all up to date on the constantly changing rules, regulations, around COVID and additional things. So, you know, massively busy year for the ASSC, and we really all appreciate it. So thank you.
Thanks, Robert. That's very kind. I'd say it's a pleasure, but I think that's possibly a little bit exotic. No, thanks very much indeed, Robert. Supercontrol is a huge help to many self-caterers in Scotland, and they've got some really good additional products associated with the account. So do take a look at their rapid response plan. Absolutely. Thank you. Next up, we've got Richard Harris, who is Head of Purchasing UK and Ireland for Interhome and the HHD Group. Good morning, Richard.
Good morning. Hello, everyone. So, as I said, I'm Richard from Interhome. I head up the purchasing team in UK and Ireland. I've been working for Into Home for about 3 years now, and I spent the last 11 years in the self-catering industry. Obviously, there's some of you that know Into Home, and we've met before, but there's a lot of you that won't have heard of us. Into Home, we began renting out privately rented homes in Switzerland around 55 years ago. And since then, we've been at the front of self-catering. We have grown since that point. We now have 15 national offices, dedicated account management for our sales partners and owners. And we also have a local presence now in around 200 destinations. We call them local service offices, and we work with some partner agencies. So a lot of these support guests and property management for owners. And we also offer a 24/7 telephone support system for owners and guests alike. So the services we offer for the private owners vary from anything from listing property for our brands to full property management. When we have your property, we display it into a large amount of channels, and they vary from OTAs to travel agencies, and we work with independent travel agents. So this is where we come to Scotland. We have been growing our portfolio throughout the last couple of years, with an aim to open an office in an area. As I mentioned, local service offices where we can provide full management, and we look at bookings as well. So we're now in the process of opening this, and it has a few setbacks due to COVID. But the first one is going to be in Drumnadrochit in the Highlands. So we have the staff there, they're ready and waiting to start growing the area and welcoming guests. And so with this taking shape, our next step will be to continue to grow and open up offices throughout Scotland, and we grow up our portfolio. So as mentioned, we have a large network of booking channels and partners that reach from the UK and throughout Europe. So it gives us this really unique blend of UK and European travel that we have experts in all the regions. So that'll help us stand out from the crowd a little. So really, that's sort of a brief overview of what we do. So myself and people working in Scotland, we'd love to discuss any questions you have about Into Home, so there's any way we can work together in the future. So you have my contact details there, so you can reach out via telephone, email, and when we're allowed to, or when I can get up there, we'll do face-to-face meetings. As mentioned there, is if you do this through us, and we're more than happy to offer a free photo shoot to freshen up the local properties. So thanks for your time, and that's me done for today.
Thank you very much indeed, Richard. That's fantastic, and I think a real opportunity if you want to expand your reach, then Into Home's definitely a good way to start. Next up is Inga Penkina, who is Market Development Manager at Verbo. Good morning, Inga.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you. So good to see so many of you logged on here post hopefully a lovely Easter weekend. As mentioned, my name is Inga, and I manage the UK market acquisition at Verbo. So if you're a property manager who's interested in onboarding your holiday homes to our marketplace, regardless of whether you manage your properties manually or through a property management software, there's a good chance that I may be your first point of contact at Verbo. I help our partners onboard successfully and optimize their listings for maximum visibility and bookings. For those of you who aren't already familiar, Verbo is a marketplace for vacation rentals targeted at groups of friends and families who are looking for a home away from home. Our guests come to Verbo for a comfortable, high-quality guest experience. They're looking for entire homes that are equipped with kitchens and familiar, convenient amenities. If you're not already a host on Verbo, here are 3 reasons why you should be. First off, our guests spend more and stay longer. On average, families who book on Verbo spend 5 times more than other travelers, stay 3 times longer than other travelers, and give an average overall review of 4.9 out of 5 stars to their hosts. And we all know how important reviews are if you're in the vacation rental space. Second, we can help you get more global exposure. So when you list with us, your property is automatically distributed across all Verbo global sites, including localized sub-brands such as Fevo Direct in Germany or Abritel in France. Additionally, listing with Verbo makes your property eligible for distribution on Expedia Group's family of sites. With 15.9 million monthly unique visitors to Verbo and 730 million monthly unique visitors on Expedia Group sites, your listings get in front of more people that are looking to book. Third, Verbo gives you access to insights into market and traveler trends based on property, pricing, location data, and your listing settings. For example, we can help you check whether your cancellation policies or payment terms match top traveler search filters and other traveler preferences that we're seeing on our sites. And we share this information to enable you to make smart decisions to optimize your visibility, bookings, and revenue. So if you're new to Verbo and would like to list with us, or if you simply want to find out more about who we are and how we do business, please reach out using the link that you see on the slide. You're more than welcome to take a photo of it, and we'll also share it in the chat here. And we'll follow up with the link as well. So if you can fill out the form, we'll make sure to reach out to you directly. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Inga. That's fantastic. And just to note that any of the questions that are appearing in the chat will get answered. We'll send them on to the relevant partners and they'll get back to you. Thanks very much, Inga. Next up is Caroline Waite from who's marketing manager at DM Hall. Hi, Caroline.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Fiona. So we have a rundown here. We're obviously a firm of surveyors. Pretty obvious, DM Hall, you've probably heard of us before, but I really just want to give you a bit of a flavour in terms of the other things that we do, because we're well known for residential, commercial surveys and valuations, but there are other areas, other pinch points that for yourselves you might want to come to us on. Firstly, to say we cover all of Scotland, all postcodes, all of the islands. We might need a wee bit of notice on some of the more remote locations, but our surveyors are out and about regularly, and frequently when I phone them, there's someone on a ferry somewhere. So we genuinely know Scotland like the back of our hand. All our surveyors are living and working in the local offices, and therefore that local knowledge is what makes for much richer valuations. We're long established. We're one of the top 3 in Scotland. We're independently owned. And in terms of those valuations, we are on all of the mainstream lenders panels, which means that if you're having your property valued or you're selling your property, you want to make sure that any buyer can get lending easily, and they'll get lending easily if whoever has surveyed the property or valued the property is on the panels for the lenders. So that's a really critical point. As Inga was saying, we're also really interested in reviews. At the moment, we've been doing free reviews with Trustpilot, but we're going to start upping our game and paying for a subscription on that, because we get so much information from reviews. As well as giving us a nice warm feeling when they're good. If we look at every single one in detail and we reply to every single one manually, because as I say, there's so much information there for us. We also have the ISO 9001 mark. It's an international classification. It's not something that you can send one person on and have a certificate that you can use on your website. It's something that it really is embedded in our whole business. So it's a huge undertaking. It costs us a lot of money, but it's a real signifier of quality. In terms of flavour of other things that we can do for you, we can help you make planning applications. We can help you determine ownership or a piece of land or property. So if there's a little strip of land adjacent to your property or land, and you want to find out who actually owns it, not just what the local hearsay is, we can help you do that. We can also help with things like boundary disputes. Now, I hope no one ever gets into a serious boundary dispute, but when you do, you need to find the right people to help you with that. And again, that's something that we can help you with. Also in terms of utility infrastructure. So if you're trying to find out, okay, where is Scottish Water's main lines in relation to the building work that we're doing, again, we can help you with that. We can help with buying, selling or letting a commercial property. And also on the valuation side for rural properties, we have a rural estate agency division who can also help with farms, estates, large tracts of land, etc. And finally, I'm going to end up my window into a set of windows, and you haven't exactly gone by the book and you're now selling and it's become a situation, then you can be in touch with us to help on that. So thank you very much, everyone. That's over and out for me.
Thank you, Caroline. Yeah, it's really, really important to know all of the other things that DM Hall can do for us. I think, you know, we all know that you are commercial surveyors and valuers, but actually all of those other services are incredibly useful. So thank you very much indeed. Next is Deborah Heather, Head of Assessment Services, Quality in Tourism. Good morning, Deborah.
Morning. I'm just trying to add my picture on, but it's not working. So also you can see me on the screen. This is the one that my boss always says when he sees this photograph. He always says, there's Deborah's younger sister. But I can't make the comparison because you can't see me right now. So I run Quality in Tourism, and we're a professional assessment company. We work across a few different industries. So we've got contracts with the MOD, we've got contracts with the Cabinet Office, but tourism and hospitality has always been my bag. I am an ex-hotelier and joined this business about 7 years ago. We do cover the whole of the UK, but we also have contracts in South Africa, in the Channel Islands, over in the Isle of Man. And yeah, we've hugely experienced. We've got 5 Scottish assessors, and between the whole of the assessment team, there's over 200 years worth of experience. So we reinvented hospitality accreditation, I think it's fair to say. In 2018, we wrote a scheme called Safe, Clean and Legal. And it was to challenge the whole sharing economy bit, where people were taking money for stays that really they weren't necessarily compliant to do. And it was really just trying to up the professionalism of the industry that we wrote it in the first place. And it wasn't that we had a view towards a pandemic in the future, but of course it did solve that issue in that we'd already written professional cleaning accreditation standards, and it's been huge actually in the last year. It's really supportive. It's moved a long way away from the old inspectorate style. It's around helping you be the best you can be, but also it's very consumer focused. So the way we do it is that it's focused on what a consumer might need to know. We always visit at some point during your accreditation. It's a rolling accreditation, so we keep your up-to-date insurance documents, your fire risk, and those relevant things that make sure that you're compliant at all times. And then you have a visit from a friendly assessor. And the idea is that, as I say, it's consumer focused and reassuring and developing trust. And we're the only accreditation body and accreditation that is recommended by Which magazine. Some of you will quote some of the self-certification pieces out there, but they are really about marking your own homework or, as one person said it to me recently, MOTing your own car. You can see how that necessarily doesn't really give the end user, the consumer, the reassurance they're looking for. But it's not all about just the safe, clean and legal and compliance bits. We also do star ratings if you're interested in that. And we have a unique scheme called REST, which is Responsible, Ethical, Sustainable Tourism. Really looks at every element of the green schemes, but not just green. It's on about how you work with your community, how you work in regeneratively, which I can't say. But I think actually the big message is the future for the industry is to be more professional, and that customers are looking for authenticity going forward. So these schemes really help you in your continuous improvement journey, and they're designed to help you communicate with a customer about what you stand for and what they could expect during their visit, alongside reassuring you and them in the meantime. Just to say thanks very much. Lovely to meet you all, and thanks for having me.
Thanks, Deborah. And I think it really is critical to recognise that accreditation is really becoming a differentiator, and it's something that customers and guests really want. So I would absolutely recommend chatting to Deborah and one of her team to make sure that, and it also just prompts you in the right direction to make sure that you are complying with all the health and safety requirements that we all have to do. And on that subject, if you haven't signed up to our Scottish Accommodation Tourism Register, then please do. It would be hugely appreciated. Thanks, Deborah. Next up, we've got Callum Matheson, who is Sales Director at Cleaner EV. Hi, Callum. No, Callum? We seem to have lost Callum. So we'll move on, if you don't mind at the moment, to Jason Batty, who is Director at Zeal. Now, you might recognise him as actually HJR Tax. So hi, Jason, how are you? Tell us about Zeal.
Yes, it's an exciting day today. We've finalised our rebrand, so there might be a little bit of confusion. Apologies for that. We're still trying to get to grips with things here today. Well, everything's changed, so but the message remains the same. So thanks for having me this morning. Hopefully this is a subject of tax which might be a little bit less daunting. I mean, who we are, we established ourselves around about four years ago. We're a team of surveying and property tax specialists. Based head office is in South Wales, but we also have another office in the Midlands. The journey began with 3 of us, and we've grown to a team of around about 35 in that time, largely helping those in the hospitality sector over the last 4 years, but also doctors, dentists, nursing homes, nurseries, and many more commercial property owners. On a monthly basis, we identify around about 4 million in unclaimed capital allowances, which results in significant tax savings and cash rebates for property owners. Over the last 12 months, the core of our business has been the self-catering industry, where we realised that a lot, or most rather, property owners are yet to take advantage of the tax relief they're entitled to. So what we do at Zeal now, we unlock hidden tax relief in self-catering properties. It is a specialist area of taxation that we look at. We claim on hidden tax relief that accountants can't claim on, and most are even unaware of. What we do is we claim capital allowances on embedded fixtures that were in the property when the property was purchased. Properties still qualify if they were purchased a long time ago.
Have we lost Jason? It was all going so well. Mel or Joyce, have we lost Jason, do you think?
Looks like it's still showing us online, but
oh dear, we were doing so well.
Can you? Oh, it might still be there, Fiona.
Jason, you back?
Yes.
I'm back. Can you hear me now?
Yes, don't give me a heart attack. That's not Keep going.
I'll stop the clock, Jason. So
where was I?
Back up about a minute.
You've stopped the clock. Thank you, Mary. We've got to about a minute. Okay, I don't know where I lost you there, so apologies for that. And apologies if you had to see my frozen face.
I think you were just explaining about helping self-catering properties, Jason. Oh, I've lost him again. Maybe worth switching your screen, your video off, Jason, if that might help.
Oh dear, we've lost Jason. We might be able to come back to him. So Jason, we'll try and come back to you in a second. But in the meantime, Scott, sorry to land you on the spot here. Scott Gregg is partner and head of EQ Leisure. Hi, Scott, how are you doing? We've got Scott now. Scott, you're on mute. Oh, we've lost Scott. Right, now this is an interesting one, isn't it, Mel?
Callum's there.
Right, Callum, you want to jump on, Callum? We've lost everyone. This was going so brilliantly, and now it's all gone to pot.
It was.
Oh, Scott can't unmute, Mel.
Hang on. Bear with me. Won't be 1 second.
Speak amongst yourselves, chaps. Apologies for this.
Right. Ask him.
Here.
Scott.
Scott.
Sorry. I was just about to say how good technology is and we're used to over the last year, but hey ho, always some gremlins in the system. So no, that's fine. Hopefully we'll be free from here on. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to present to so many of the members who may or may not have seen me on a few of the webinars that I've been involved with over the last year. I'm a partner at EQ Accountants, based in Dundee, and we have offices in Forfar and Glenrothes as well. EQ are accountants, tax advisors and business advisors, and I'm head of our dedicated EQ Leisure team, who really focused on that sector and more so the last wee while on recovery and positioning businesses to come out of lockdown and achieve their goals. EQ, we call ourselves a small large firm, 17 partners, 120 staff, and we differentiate ourselves from our competitors by not decompartmentalizing the compliance work of our clients. So EQ clients, they have 3 dedicated team members who cover all aspects of their business affairs, and that positions us in the best opportunity to provide the most proactive tax advice, business advice, as those 3 team members have a full understanding of the business goals and objectives, which are paramount. The tax landscape is forever changing, nothing stands still, and especially coming out of lockdown, with budget just recently set a month ago, which was fairly, we got off fairly lightly, but we know that will change as the COVID measures and support provided has to be repaid, and that is through tax and fiscal measures. So there are a lot of consultation documents out there, and we're at the forefront of liaising with some of the bodies on that, but also advising clients on potential upcoming changes and making sure their business, the structure is still fit for purpose and meets the objectives. Because we do see quite often businesses have not reviewed strategically their operating structure, and it might be some very simple changes which can make some significant impact, both short term and longer term, especially around succession and family planning. We always look to do a tailored approach. No one size fits all solutions are out there. It's taken each on a case by case basis, and reviewing how any changes, whilst might resolve one tax issue, more often than not do flag up another one. So it's looking at that whole procedure in the round. And whilst yes, a lot of accountants out there can easily do annual tax compliance work, set of accounts, income expenditure account, a tax return, we really feel we take it to the next level, and offer that personal approach and working with our clients to achieve their objectives, and whether that's passing on assets efficiently to our family, exiting on retirement, and securing as much value as possible, through efficient and proactive tax planning. As with everything in tax, nothing can really be done retrospectively. Today is the first day of the new tax year, so we're looking ahead, and we'd be more than happy to speak with the members here if there are any comments or queries they may have. Contact details are on the screen, and you can also find it on our website as well. That's fine. Thank you all.
Thank you, Scott. Thanks as ever for that brilliant news. I think we should have Callum Matheson back. How are we doing? Yeah, I can see you, Callum. Good start.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Good.
I was devastated because I put my favourite cardigan on and I thought nobody's going to get to see it. That's a disaster. But hi, how you doing? I'm Callum from Cleaner EV. We do lots and lots of electric vehicle car charging, whether it's commercial, whether it's with hotels, whether it's self-catering apartments, car garages, community halls, everything that basically that attracts people to come and spend some time with them. We feel that there's, and especially in the EV space, that there's a real need for either big chargers if you're on a particularly route somewhere where you feel that you've got a space where you can give people the opportunity to come and charge their car a wee bit quicker and they can come and generate extra footfall, or if it's just for you guys for the self-catering space, then it's really about giving your guests the opportunity to be able to come and charge their car overnight and differentiating yourself between the accommodation next door. We also do a lot of energy saving products as well. So not only do we do EV charging, we've got cleaner solar, and we help people reduce their energy costs and their carbon footprint. A lot of the places that we work with are off grid, so they use oil, they use electric, they use LPG to heat their home and provide energy. So we feel that we're in a unique position where we can help people not only attract people to the business, but also help them reduce the costs and the day-to-day running costs of their business. And we are more than happy to engage with anyone who would like to speak with us on that. We do a monthly newsletter for all of our customers to explain to them exactly what we've done that month and other innovative products that are out there. We also help people tap into funding. Now, for example, for the self-catering industry, if your apartment is classed as a business, with the Energy Savings Trust, which I hope everyone goes and looks at the Energy Savings Trust, because they are absolutely fantastic at helping you become more kind of carbon neutral and become more energy efficient. We've got lots of different funding routes, but in particular they have a funding route for what's called workplace charging. Now, if you are classed as a business, they will give you up to 50% of any of the charging infrastructure that you put in. And also there's a fund from OLEV, which is the Office of Low Emission Vehicles. They will give you £350 towards any installation. So actually you could get your install done actually quite cheaply, and that will generate more footfall and people to come towards you. And what you actually probably want to do, and what I would suggest you do, but I'm a sales guy, so you don't have to go do exactly what I say, but I would suggest that we use that 50% funding to actually future-proof your business, and rather than just put one charger in, you maybe put 2 or 3 chargers in and use the funding to make sure that you can attract more guests, because what's really going to happen in the next 4 to 5 years, it's going to skyrocket the amount of electric cars that are on the road. We do a lot of workplace charging now, not just for self-catering, but workplaces as in where the workplace has realised that they can save 16% on their benefit in kind when it comes to tax. And I'm sure there's tax guys there that know a lot more about it than I do, but as a sales pitch, you can save 16% in your industry by just going full electric, but you have to have the infrastructure at the same time. And it's really something that we see a huge growth in workplace, because a lot of people are changing their fleets over to full electric, not so much hybrid. We actually see them going full electric, and that will start to resonate within your industry, because people will come for short stay apart for short stay holidays and times, and you will see them coming more prominently. That is a fact, and it's coming. It's really exciting times. We're really keen to be more associated with you guys and see how we can help you, because it's not just electric car charging that we do. Like I said, we can help you. For example, if you've got electric heating, we can help you reduce your bills hugely. We've got a water cylinder that can give you all your hot water for £150 a year. It's an absolute game changer, and it's something that everyone should really, really think about. In terms of getting in touch with us, like I say, we've got a newsletter, so if anyone wants to fire over their details, we can include you in that, and you'll just get bombarded with information every month. We're on LinkedIn. We've got our website at cleanerev.co.uk. You can catch us on that. You've got my mobile number. Feel free to phone me at any time. I'm always keen to talk about electric car chargers. I'm always keen to try and save you money. And really, no question is a daft question. So if there's anything that's sitting and niggling you at the back of your mind, then please do just get in touch with me. And what I would say, and one last thing, is that the new financial year is coming up, as I've heard a couple of the accountants say, and there will be more funding coming out from Energy Savings Trust. So whether you want to attract the general public to wherever you are, if you have a bigger area, then I would certainly start looking at the Energy Savings Trust website. Or if you want to become, if you have a piece of land and you want to become an EV hub, and if you've got maybe a cafe or another kind of side business, we have a fully funded model that could get you one of the biggest chargers in the area and make sure and guarantee that people come to you before going to anywhere else. And I'd be really, really keen to speak to anyone who has a bit of land on a kind of main route, because I really feel that we can generate you some extra footfall and get a buzz about your place and really get you on the map for EV charging. So yeah, and we've got all the ISO kind of things as well. I think it's 9001 and 4000 and whatever, and that Christine in our office has really worked hard to get that. So hopefully that gives people a bit of a peace of mind that we've really got some kind of hard protocols behind us to make sure that we're doing things in the right way, because we want to add value. We want to come and help you, but first and foremost, we want to add value and make sure that we can help you be the greenest and best business that you possibly can be after we've left. So I'll probably just maybe wrap it up there.
Thanks, Callum. If you want to speak to anyone that's really, really passionate about EV charging, then this is your guy. And I do actually need to speak to you because I want to install one, but that's beside the point. Thank you so much, Callum. Now, just can we see if Jason's still around, because he was mid-flow and I just...
I'm here.
Yay!
I'm back, yes. If it's okay, I'll leave the video off,
yes,
because that might cause an issue. So let's take two. Apologies for earlier, by the way. Okay, I don't know where I actually cut off, but I've got an idea. So I'll just try and skip towards that point. I mean, I explained that we've rebranded today by the name of Zeal, offering next generation tax advice. We became partners for business with Ask, and we're associate members of PASC, because we noticed that most holiday let or self-catering property owners have not taken advantage of all the tax relief that they're entitled to. We believe it's above 80% have not claimed a capital allowances tax relief on the embedded fixtures that were in their property when they purchased it. Embedded fixtures include essential items to your trade, such as heating systems, electric systems, ventilation, ironmongery, and much, much more. The analogy I like to use is that qualifying fixtures, if you picked up your property, turned it upside down and gave it a shake, the things that remain stuck to the building, behind the walls, you're entitled to claim tax relief on. And most owners and accountants and their advisors are unaware of the tax relief you're entitled to on that. It typically equates to 25% of the purchase price that qualifies. And on average, in turn, this creates a pool of tax savings and cash rebates around about 33,000 for self-catering property owners, which over the last year, for many, has been quite timely. Identifying these items, it's a very specialist area of taxation. It requires the skills of surveyors and property tax experts. If you bought a piece of land and built the property from the ground, you would have collected all the receipts and the cost information to provide to your accountant, and quite right, they would be able to claim tax relief on these items. They don't always do, but they would have the information to do so. However, if you bought a property 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago with the fixtures already in it, and therefore there's no receipts because the previous owner or whoever built it actually had those, then obviously it's difficult or impossible for an accountant to claim on this. That's where you need the skills of surveyors to actually put a price on these fixtures. And as I say, there's around about 33,000 per property for property owners, which, as again, is most timely. To really finish, because I've already done half the presentation at one point, to finish, the key points really is that if you own a self-catering property, or some of your clients do, you should get in touch with us to see if you qualify. I don't like using the word no win, no fee service, but essentially that's what it is. We'll be able to tell you rather soon if you do indeed qualify. If you do, we can provide you with a bespoke proposal, which will give you an estimate on what you may be entitled to. There's no downside to making the claim. What comes up quite often is a common misconception, in fact, yet completely inaccurate, is making the claim will affect CGT upon sale. Is not the case. Completely inaccurate. We can obviously provide you or your accountant on advice on that also. And if you've referred the property, there's still opportunities there also. I mentioned that accountants may have the cost information to do this, but because we specialise in capital allowances, we usually review this and can unearth more savings for you. That's it for me. If you have any questions, please feel free to get in touch with me. My contact information is on the slide there. And yeah, thanks for listening.
Thank you, Jason. And thanks to everyone for bearing with us. Obviously, nightmare, but there it is, technology. That was fantastic and really, really helpful. We've got another couple of slides that Joyce will just fly through just at the moment, which refers to our partners over at Solway Water and Unique Cottages, who again, we'd encourage you to get hold of if you think that they could help with anything at all. Thanks so much to everyone that joined us today and to all of our partners. And of course, thanks to Tunnocks for continuing to be our SSC Talk main sponsor. Really appreciate it. I hope that's been really helpful. Next on the agenda is tomorrow we are holding our first ever hustings. The election's less than a month away, and we brought together candidates from Scotland's 5 main political parties representing the Scottish Parliament for you to question on their priorities for tourism in Scotland and how indeed they intend to support self-catering going forwards. So it's obviously really, really important that you spare some time if you can. At 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, we are going to be joined by Fergus Ewing, SNP candidate for Inverness and Nairn, Jamie Halco-Johnson, who's Shadow Cabinet Secretary for Rural Affairs and Tourism, and the Scottish Government candidate for Skye, Lochaber and Badenoch. Our third speaker is Rhoda Grant, who's Scottish Labour and Cooperative candidate for Inverness and Nairn and is Scottish Labour's tourism spokesperson. Laura Moody is the Scottish Green candidate for the South of Scotland, and finally Liam MacArthur, who's the Lib Dem candidate for Orkney. It should be a really, really interesting session, and we really hope that you can make it. So that's 5 o'clock tomorrow. We're excited to announce, for somebody that did ask the question earlier, we're going to be publishing our updated 2021 overlay version of the cleaning protocols later on today. So that should be of interest to a lot of you in advance of opening up again. Thank you again to everybody that's attended today and to all of our partners, and we hope to see you very soon. Thanks a lot.